Today we're taking a look at the Aviator T-36 by Tomtoc. It's the X-Pac version of the popular T-33 from 2024. It adds an X-Pac facelift, but still keeps those features like the RFID protection throughout the bag. What's going on, everybody? This is Lamar with MF Research, and today we've got the T-36 X-Pac Sling by Tomtoc. This is the 3.5 liter. It also comes in a 1.5 liter. So this is going to be part of the Tomtoc series where I cover different items across the Tomtoc line just to show you what I think is a good value brand. And what I'm going to do, since this is a sling, it is over 3 liters, it does fit in the perfect sling contention. I'm also going to grade it using the perfect sling criteria. So this is going to be sort of a 2-for-1 where we hit some Tomtoc and some perfect sling. So take a look at both of those playlists when you're done watching this video. I didn't think they were coming out with an X-Pac version of this bag so soon. I was actually looking at the 1.5 liter a while ago, but ended up deciding on the Waterfield Designs hip sling instead. So now let's see how this one stacks up. But first, before we get into this guy, I have to be upfront like always. Tomtoc did send me this bag for review. You're gonna get my honest opinions. You'll see that in a little while. So let's dig into the review and let's start with the quality of the material and the hardware. So the front of this guy is a VX21 X-Pac, and it comes in a variety of colors. There's YKK zippers throughout, and they have this extended cordage with a little bit of heat shrink on there. The X-Pac doesn't travel the entire bag. It covers the top, the front, right there to the side, and then it switches for this ballistic nylon here and on the back. And then on the winglets, the front, it has X-Pac, but the back it doesn't. I don't think it's Cordura, but it is the ballistic nylon. I did see that. And I didn't see anything about these being AquaGuard zippers, but they are laminated zippers and they are YKK. And then the zipper back here is a reverse coil zipper. So in this case, I had something weird happen to the hardware. I'd been using the bag every day for a little over a week, and then I took it out on Saturday. In the morning, it was just fine. Took it off to go ride down to Dallas. Was getting ready to put it on, and the Duraflex buckle wouldn't clasp. Don't know what was going on with that. I've had tons of Tomtoc bags, I've had tons of Duraflex buckles, and I just couldn't get it to connect correctly. What you'll see here is me trying to do it. It's a little bit better than it was when it first happened. I did bend it to fix it a little bit, but it didn't quite get right, and I don't know what happened to it. I did reach out to Tomtoc. I sent them a couple pictures, a couple videos, and I asked them about this, and by the time this video does come out, I'll probably have the replacement for it. But overall, without that, the material and the hardware I thought was really good for this bag. One thing I would have wished to have seen is the X-Pac going all the way through the bag, both the front and the back, and maybe even the bottom. I could live with the bottom not being X-Pac, but at least the front and the back. It's almost like it's just faced an X-Pac. So for some people, that might not be a good thing. The shiny laminated zippers might be something for some people. It's okay for me, it doesn't bother me, but maybe a muted zipper would have been something to consider as well. And so because of all that, I'm gonna give this bag 2 scores in this category, and it'll be 2 scores for the final score. Since they are sending me another one, since it does kind of seem like just more of those one-off freak accidents, I'm gonna give it 2 scores. 1, based on what it would be if it worked, and 2, based on how it is. Because I'm gonna be honest, it did fail on me a little bit. I do want to put that out there just to let you know. Do I think it's an issue long-term? Not really, just based on what I've seen in the past. Duraflex are quality buckles, so should be okay. In terms of quality hardware and material, I'm gonna give it a 7 as it stands when it's working. But I'm gonna have to bring it down a notch to a 3. Based on the buckle. You can get that repaired, but at the time when I was trying to use it, because of the failure on the buckle, it was unusable at the time. So I'm gonna rate it down to a 3. All right, let's talk about the organization and ease of access. There's a ton of organization on this guy. Going in the front, just right here, there's nothing right here. There's a key leash here. There's a slip pocket right here. There's a slip pocket right there. And they pretty much go the width of the bag and the way the bag is cut, even though there's zipper garages on both one side really, and then there's all this stuff. You can still get into them pretty easily and pretty quickly as long as you don't pack it out. So going into the back, we'll go back here real quick. There's nothing really back here. It's just an empty pocket. Most slings like this, they basically have this back here just like this. All right, let's go to the star of the show, the main compartment. Now let's take a look at that. So on this side, you've got some zipper. You've got a mesh compartment that's sealed with a zipper. So that's just right there, and then that's just empty right in there. And it kind of functions like a big pouch. And then you've got two kind of half mesh pockets that are slip pockets as well. They don't close or anything, and I didn't find any problem with that. Some people might want those closed or something a little more secure, but I found it for what I used in here to be just fine. And the thing that was cool about it is because they stretch, you can actually put a little bit extra in here. So I could fit two things in here versus just one. And then this is where your tech, you can put your phone here, put your small tablet if you got that, or your switch or something could go here. And then there's just this little piece that protects your switch, if that's what it's gonna do. And then this is just the same old fabric folded over. So as far as the organization and ease of access, I think where the zippers sit makes it really easy to get into. You can see everything in there. I really enjoyed the layout. The organization was really a strong point of this bag to me. I think the interior, that one mesh zipper pocket, it almost acted like a pouch. And I really like the mesh pockets on the inside as well. I found that there was plenty of space in there. Even giving it a 3.5 liter bag, I felt like it was definitely holding everything I needed. That's why I was even able, and you'll see in a little while, to put a little bit more than I initially planned on putting in there. Another thing that I liked is once you added everything in there, everything had its own space. You didn't have to like move things out of the way to get to it. There was a lot of independent sections in there, so there was no problems. The only area where I did have a little bit of trouble is in that front slip pocket, and that's probably because I was putting more in there than it should, and it was getting pretty close to the limit for that bag. Overall, organization and ease of access, I gave this an 8. Now let's talk about how comfortable the Sling is. There's not really much to talk about in terms of comfort. It's a smaller bag. It contours to your body very well. There's not really any padding. It's more or less the materials folded over, so that acts like some degree of padding. It contours to your body. It contours to what you have in here. So I think it's comfortable as it needs to be. The base for the strap's kind of angled, so it makes it that good chest back crossbody sling. With the ballistic nylon, if you run hot in the summer, keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, I think it's fine. Overall, as far as comfort, I'm going to give this bag an 8. It didn't get too hot. I don't think it would. For some people that run hot, because it's not mesh or vented on the back, that may work against you, but it doesn't really bother me any. I wore this bag one day, all day. I got up in the morning, put it on, had it on where I was going, had it on where I was driving, had it on when I was sitting down, had it on while I was eating, and I just took it off at the end of the day. It was comfortable, didn't bother me, didn't even feel like it was an issue. So this is definitely a bag that you can wear on the go for long periods of time. Let's take a look at the design and the style. I think the design on this guy is good, especially for what it is. It's not groundbreaking or revolutionary, but it doesn't need to be. I mean, I think the coolest thing are the colors. You can get multiple colors just to match your style. I think I almost picked it up in the khaki, but I decided to go with the green since I've never had a green sling before. But they did have an orange and they did have a blue. I think that was pretty cool. And if you're into RFID, this entire bag has RFID blocking material, so that'll keep your stuff protected. As far as design and style, I gave it a 6. It doesn't do anything wrong. It's just a basic solid sling design. So it's not really anything major, anything revolutionary. It's just solid for what it is. I don't think it's going to offend anybody, and I think it's just a good bag. There's tons of colors on this bag, so you can pretty much pick whatever color you want. You could pick multiple colors. I might still pick up one of the other colors as well. Let's look at the versatility. So the way this is set up, this is a crossbody chest pack. Really, that's it. You can't really wear it fanny mode just because of the way it's angled, I don't think. And I guess you could in a pinch if you really, really wanted to, but I don't think it's really designed for that. If you wanted to, I could use this as a tech bag. I think the organization is good. I could take the strap and kind of zip tie it together like that so it doesn't flop all over the place. But to me, it's more of just a sling. As far as versatility goes, I gave it a 6. To me, it's a chest sling or across the body sling, wearing them across the front or the back. Doesn't really double as a fanny, doesn't really double as a tech organizer. While you could, you'd still have those straps. If the straps were removable, then you'd have that as a tech organizer. And I'd give the versatility a little more points. But it does what it does, and it does it well. And you can't falter for that. So if you're looking for a crossbody bag around the 3 liters, I think it's good. But versatility, because I want a sling to punch in different weight classes, I gave this one a 6. Let's take a look at the size. There's a 1.5 liter version, but I opted for the 3.5 liter option. And so today we're going to focus on just the numbers on the 3.5 liter sling. The dimensions are 11.42 by 5.91 by 3.54, and it says it weighs about 0.75 or 3/4 of a pound. So not too heavy at all, it's really light. For size, I gave it a 7. It's a good solid size sling for 3.5 liters. It's not too bulky. It conforms to your body. And like I mentioned before in the organization section, I feel like what this sling really does well, it gives you tons of space for the size. I think you can't go wrong with that. It's not too heavy or anything like that. So I think it's a good solid sling as far as size goes. Let's take a look at the availability. Tomtoc has an extensive list of retailers across the globe that carry their products. Here in the US, I usually get my stuff from Amazon from them. They do have their website. You can purchase from them directly. One funny thing I did notice at the time of this review, I couldn't find this bag on their site, but I could find it on Amazon. While it's not as easy as going to your local store and going to pick one up, because I can get it on Amazon and that same day, 2-day shipping, doesn't take too long, I'm gonna give it a 9 because it can get to me just about as fast as I want it. Now let's talk about the strap. So as you guys know, I am very picky on the strap for my sling, so we're gonna see how it stands up. So first of all, is the strap removable? No. Is there a quick release? There is, but there's only one on this side. And that's the part that gave me trouble. And we talked about that a little earlier. Is it quickly adjustable? Yeah, it's definitely quickly adjustable. This loop right here, and I got it tangled up, but this loop right here makes it very easy to adjust. And it manages the strap very well. So I do like that. Is it comfortable? This soft seatbelt style material is always comfortable on a sling of this size. I think if you go any bigger, it's not as comfortable, but for this size, it's 3.5 liter. I think this is perfect and as comfortable as you're gonna need for a sling like this. I think if you had any padding, it'd be overkill. All right, for the strap, I gave it a 7. Mostly because for my strap category, is it comfortable? A sling of this size, all it really has to do is not irritate your skin, and the nice soft seatbelt style webbing was comfortable. It touched my neck, wasn't a problem. It didn't scratch up my clothes or anything, so that was fine. It's not removable. For a sling this size, making it removable would have really been fantastic. The other thing, the quick release buckle, while it does have one and that is a plus, where it sits, I find that kind of challenging because I usually wear my sling on the right shoulder, but once you swing it around to the front or try to take that quick access buckle off, it's not really conducive to that. It works a lot better when the sling is on your left shoulder. So because of those things, I had to drop it down a little bit to a 7. So as far as value goes, I think that's what you're going to Tomtoc for. Maybe you're not sure about a particular category of bag and want to try something that's good quality before you go to something else. Or you may like it so much you stick with that bag. I found some good quality stuff with them. That's why I wanted to do a series. That's why I actually reached out to them to try to get something to review. I'm a fan of Tomtoc. I've been a fan of Tomtoc products before they even sent me anything. You can check every video in the series that wasn't a piece of gear provided by Tomtoc to see what I thought about it. Is it perfect? No. But I think it's a solid entry in each category. And in this one, I don't think it's any different. So I have to give them a 10 as far as value. What you're getting for around 60 bucks and sometimes on sale for a little over 50 bucks is fantastic. And even though the buckle failed, I'd still recommend this highly and think it's a great value. Duraflex is solid quality and I've never had any trouble with it in the past. So I just feel like it was a fluke. So definitely would still recommend this one. Hey, I hope you're liking the video so far. Don't forget to like, comment with any gear reviews you'd like to see in the future, and subscribe to MF for Research. Any support helps grow my little small corner of the EDC community. Now back to the video. Let's see, no back padding or mesh, but that's not a huge deal for a bag of this size. There's no grab handle at all up there. Well, I think I'll fit a square water bottle in here. There's no dedicated water bottle accommodations. I may try to put something up here in the front in the future. There is no dedicated CCW accommodations. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could maybe fit something small in there or something in there, but I wouldn't recommend it for a bag like this. There's no loop paneling at all anywhere on the bag or on the inside for anything. And there's minimal branding on this guy. So there's a little logo right there. There's the logos on the inside. There's the RFID branding. And that's really it. I think there's another little tag somewhere. Yeah, there's that guy right there. All right, let's see what I have in here. This is probably the most full I've ever had it, but let's go through it. So on the outside, they've got these little hooks, and I just decided to put one of these little clip cob lights on here. Didn't really run a flashlight this time, just ran this guy. It's bright enough for what you need a basic flashlight for. And I just wanted to see how functional these hooks were. They were okay for something like this. Anything heavier, I wouldn't want. So now let's go inside. And this is what I was talking about, where I said, depending on what you load in here, these get a little hard to access. So normally this fits in this pocket, but right now it didn't. So this is just my gun deck EDC Ranger wallet with a poker pen. And then my AirPods. These are the Pro 2s. And that's all I keep in here. And that's it. So if you want, there's a key leash, but I didn't use it. And now on the back, this is just where I keep my phone, put a phone, passport, whatever back here. It fits pretty good. Notice the orange ripstop. And then in the main compartment, which I didn't put this in here most of the time, but probably the last day or two, I put this in here just to see how well it fit. And that's just this little flat water bottle. Much as I fuss about it, I may want to try a memo bottle just to see how well it works in the sling. They say that they work pretty good. I just don't like that they don't stand up on their own. But that's what I had in there. So I'm going through, and I'll save that guy for last. Just a little lens cleaner spray. I'm starting to like those better than the wipes, but that's what I had. Remember this guy from the budget EDC video? Just a little budget notebook and some Altoids. Got to keep the breath fresh. And then a couple of pieces of candy, a few Jolly Ranchers. And then I found this, forgot I bought it when I bought something from O Knife. Just a little Hank. Go in here, just something different. I don't even think they carry those anymore, but threw that in there. And I think that's all that's in the mesh pockets. And then in here, I just have my little power bank. I think it's 5,000 milliamp hours. No, 10,000 milliamp hours. So got this in here. And then I've got my Miu Mini Plus that I keep in here. Battery's dead on this right now. I was playing it the other day. And then on this side, like I was telling you before, when I first started using it, I didn't really use any pouches. So I like my hygiene stuff, my hand creams, my wipes, dew wipes, foamins, stuff like that. That was all in here. Started carrying, Foamin makes a deodorant wipe, so I started carrying that. Tide wipes, Tylenol, hand sanitizer. Just all kind of little, just basic day-to-day stuff. Zyrtec, there used to be a couple in there, but now there's only one. So just stuff like that I used to put in there, just hygiene type stuff like that. So I wasn't going to use any pouches, but I just so happened, the folks over at Garage Built Gear, they were running a mystery buy. So I went and I picked this one up, and I think it is the Mighty Pouch, the one without the hook and loop on the front. I like the Mighty Pouch Plus that I have a little better, but again, it's the same build quality, no loose seams, nothing like that. It's built very well. Only got that single zipper, but it's still pretty cool. The zipper pull is super long, and I don't think I have much in here. I just threw some of the stuff that was actually sitting in the sling in here. So I broke the Victorinox back out. I've got the Ozark Trail knife that everyone's been talking about. I think I'm gonna do a video on that later. I've got some thoughts on this guy and where I think it's perfect, so just be on the lookout for that. Keep these everywhere. Use this with this to charge up all this stuff. I try to do USB-C all the things, and so that way I only need one charging cable. So that's what we're doing with that. And I don't think there's anything else in here on that side. A little bit of chapstick right there. Big Idea Design little mini copper pen. This has been in my EDC for a minute, and I just thought I'd break it back out since I've been using other pens. So this is in there. And then I did a video on this already, and I'll put a link to that. But this is just the RLA-4 by Mech Army. I was testing this out, so while I was carrying this, I had it too, just to see how effective pry bars are. And so I did a video and I talked about that, so I'll link that in the description as well. So that's pretty much what I had in here 90% of the time. And then I had this in there a little bit as well. One thing I do want to show you, and I'll be right back, is while I don't play it much, we do play that Mario Party though, is that the switch fits in here, no problem. So notice that the switch is in here with a little room to spare. I'd say it probably even fits an iPad mini in here too. So let's talk about what I liked about the bag. I really liked the organization. I thought that was really good. You did need to use pouches if you don't want to. I started without using pouches, but ended up using pouches in the long run just because I picked up a new one and wanted to test it out. I think the colors are great. You can get one or two at this price to match your style. I think they're fun. You don't have the usual black. Even though I like a black bag, you can get khaki or pink or orange, or I think it's like a brown, and tons of fun colors out there. Fantastic value for what you're getting. If this is your first sling, I think you'll be well served. If you've had plenty of slings in the past, I still think you'll be well served. So this is something definitely to take a look at. So the RFID blocking, not a big deal maker one way or the other for me, but the fact that this entire bag is RFID blocking, I think that's pretty cool, instead of just that one pocket. So now you can put your valuables that you're worried about in any pocket and not have to worry about making sure it's protected. So if you believe in that protection, then you're covered throughout the bag, and I think that's a plus. The size, I think it's a great size for what it is. It's not too heavy, it's not too big sitting on your body, contours to your body well enough, and I just think it's good for what it is. And like I said, 3.5 liters and all the stuff I could fit in here, I'm impressed. And with the size, I think that also lends into the comfort and the ability to wear it all day. So now I don't really talk about cons. I like to talk about things that can be improved, things to look at for the next iteration of the bag. The first thing, if you're gonna commit to the buckle being right there, and I'm cool with that for the quick release, give me a second buckle. So it does a couple things when you do that. One, it makes it more ambidextrous with the quick release. So doing that, you'd have one on each side, depending on how you adjust it. You have to be careful because it might sit wrong. And then to make the strap removable, which then, given the organization that you have, it'd be a fantastic tech organizer. And so that would increase the versatility for it. On the zipper pulls, make them just a little bit bigger. The actual string, using regular paracord, I thought they were a little thin for what they were. You could just give me a small grab handle right in this area right here, and that would be easy to do. Give me X-Pac back here. I really want more of the bag in X-Pac. If I'm going for an X-Pac bag, I wanted an X-Pac. I'm not too worried about the bottom because sometimes they like to do that because that's where it's going to interface with the ground. So the switch pocket, instead of that little bit of padding, make that padding go all the way throughout. If I were carrying a switch, which I'm not on a regular basis, but I did show it to you, I wouldn't feel comfortable carrying my switch in there. The way it's designed, you wouldn't really be able to fit a case in there as well. You'd have to fit the switch in there by itself. And given that there's not much padding, I'd feel a little worried about that if I'm going throughout my day with the switch in there and only protecting that one little strip. You could extend that down pretty easily and not add too much to the bulk of the bag. And the last thing, what are these? What are we supposed to do with those? I put something there just because I could. What I'm gonna try after this review, I guess once I get the replacement for this guy, is I'm going to put some shock cord between those. I'm going to use it to hold a beanie or some gloves or something like that, something small, maybe even a small water bottle, I don't know. So overall, my raw score without the failure is a 68, giving it a score of 75.6. The score with the failure gives it a 65 or 71.1. That puts it, depending on how it scores, on either side of the Waterfield Design hip sling. So that makes it either the number 2 bag so far or the number 4 bag so far. Would you pick this guy up in X-Pac, or would you stick to the ballistic nylon? If you do pick it up, what color are you looking at? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to take a look at some of the other videos on the screen. I've got the Perfect Sling playlist along with the brand highlight for Tomtoc on here. So take a look at both of those. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. And as always, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I'm Lamar with MF Research, and I'm out.